Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of OLM Live. And here tonight, we have a very special guest with your host, Laquita Langhorn. I am hosting this show to discuss everything indie on tonight, and especially what we have in store for 2022 when it comes to independent filmmaking and on location Memphis. My guest tonight is coming from LA, even though she was not originally from there. She took a big leap of faith, and I really admire everything she has going on. So I feel like she could definitely add some inspiration to those that follow this channel. So definitely like and subscribe to On Location Memphis as we have so much in store for you. And just take a moment and a breather, and we'll be right back with our guest, Tamika Briscoe. All right, so we are back, and what I'm going to do is hand the mic over to my beautiful guest, Tamika Briscoe. I'll try to bring her on. Hello, hey,
Hello, Laquita.
welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Yes, you're welcome. We are so excited to have you and just everything that you have going on. It is something that we look forward to helping individuals in Memphis and around the world, do the things that you're doing. You're so talented, just out there making things happen and just putting your faith and betting on yourself is just something that I admire. So we're glad to have you tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I admire you doing it right there in Memphis. I think that's so cool and you're doing incredible things. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Well, I just wanted to hand the mic over to you, but tell us about Tamika Briscoe. What is going on in your world?
Sure, absolutely. Well, hi, everybody out there. I'm Tamika Briscoe, and I'm a screenwriter. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I'm an independent filmmaker, a director. I have two kids, and I packed them up from everything familiar that we love so much from being in D.C. Most of our lives, and decided to take the leap of faith, as you've mentioned earlier, to move to Los Angeles, where here I'm just creating film projects and working with other amazing content creators and actors, and it's just been a whirlwind. It's the best feeling in the world. I have no regrets.
Absolutely. And I love that you have no regrets because, coming from a mother's standpoint, it's scary, to get out there and be like, okay, well, I'm just going to trust God and get out there. And then you never know what can happen and what's not going to go your way. So I think that's very interesting that you took that leap of faith and said, hey, let's just go to LA. Look, we can't lose. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh
I
my
love
God,
that.
you say things that won't go your way so much. Did it go your way. Like, I mean, you have no idea about how many things don't go your way, but it goes God's way, and his vision is greater than ours. You know, God
Yes.
is amazing, and he's hilarious. Like sometimes he'll just tell you like move to LA, but he doesn't. He'll give you part of the plan. Like, okay, I'm supposed to be in LA,
Absolutely.
but he won't say like, oh well, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna
Yes.
a couch. You're gonna
That
have to,
part.
you know, you're gonna not have your dream job as soon as you get there. You're gonna have to hustle and figure it out. But
Yes.
I'm gonna guide you. I'm gonna keep you, and it's gonna get better. And I'm gonna elevate you, and it's gonna keep getting better. So that's the cool part.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I love most is that, here at On Location Memphis, what the organization is trying their best to do is to make sure that not just anybody is out there putting content out there, but those who have good content, they're getting the recognition, they're getting resources they need, they're getting connected with individuals who can help them along their journey. And
Wow.
that's what attracted me to you, Tamika, when I got on Clubhouse and I just got into her room that she usually does on Fridays, NEAF, and the gems that you guys dropped in there. And the first thing that I heard was QT. And I was like, wow, what is that? It made me research you. So tell us a little bit about QT and everything, where they can find it.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Clubhouse has been a blessing because it has really just made the world smaller
Mm-hmm.
and helped us find one another
Oh,
and
yes.
connect. And that's really cool. So shout out to Clubhouse. Shout out to my Mod Squad fam. I am connected through Clubhouse with people that I just admire so much, and they're doing terrific things. But in terms of QT, believe it or not, QT is so it's a digital dramatic series, so it's a soap
Mhm.
opera.
Mhm.
Mostly people of color, Black people in particular, are the
Yes.
cast
Yes.
and the crew behind the concept of this. But we came up with it during quarantine, and
Mhm.
we filmed it during quarantine. So
Mhm.
for QT, which you can actually find on Tubi for the first 2 seasons,
Mhm.
we filmed all of that remotely.
Wow.
It
Oh
was
my God.
truly remarkable, like just to find like these amazing actors who are mostly based in LA, but they're anywhere in the world. Even when I did
Yeah.
the casting call, I was like, you can be anywhere. You
Wow.
know, like, I just knew the technology that I needed you to have. And
Yes.
if you were a good actor and you could
Mhm.
characters to life, I wanted to
Mhm.
talk to you.
Yeah.
Created it in quarantine. We worked together, did 2 seasons in a year, which is spectacular to begin.
Wow.
And
Absolutely.
then we knew we didn't want to necessarily do a quarantine format if
Mhm.
we were to do a third season.
Mhm.
So we knew, like, okay, everybody's over quarantine. If I see one more face, I'm going to scream.
Yeah.
Or Zoom, I'm going to scream. So
Yeah.
we needed to switch it up. So we then went on Clubhouse,
Mhm.
and through this amazing creative community that we built, we were able to raise over $40,000 in 40 days
Oh my.
to create a spinoff of QT, which is called QT Second Shot,
Yeah.
just a pilot.
Mhm.
Because we wanted to use it as a proof of concept to pitch, like, hey, it's not just a quarantine show. This is a Black soap. We wanted
Absolutely.
networks to take attention and possibly buy it.
Yeah.
However, we're still in post production, so it's taken a
Mhm.
little longer than we'd like from the last time that QT aired to
Mhm.
us to finish it. So
Yeah.
we're going to release it when it's done, and we're going to raise more money and just complete the season as a limited series, and we're so excited about that.
Yes, I'm excited about that too, and that's one of the things that I wanted to speak with you about. We'll get into how you decided to raise the money for the funds, but
Mhm. Yep.
I'm curious. When you went from Washington to LA, one of the things that you weren't always a filmmaker. So what were you doing beforehand, and what made you get into it?
Oh, great question. So ever since I was a little girl, like little, I remember at least being 10 years old, never even been to LA, but just seen so many of the things. First of all, I was a little girl whose mom and great grandmother let my imagination run wild. So I've been watching soap operas in order to get out of taking naps since I was 5 years old. So I always just grew up like watching like The Bold and the Beautiful, which is based in Los Angeles, and
Yes.
90210, when I was a little
Yeah.
older, which is based in Los Angeles. So I knew like I want to do that. I want to live in LA, and I want to be a Hollywood writer, and I want to create soaps like
Oh,
Aaron Spelling.
yeah.
Like I just knew that since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
But didn't we talk earlier about according to my plan and
Oh
God's plan, how
yes.
those
Oh
the
yes.
same? So I ain't gonna say lost my way, but I
Mhm.
just never knew that it was possible. It was just
Mhm.
seeming like, oh, that's just something that I dreamed of when I was a
Yeah.
little girl. Like, whatever,
Yeah.
let me get through high school and let me, take a little dibble and dabble in some community college, but nothing too serious because
Mhm.
I want to have my own place.
Yeah.
I want the freedom. So I wanted to work. So nothing about my trajectory has been traditional. Like,
Mhm.
from high school, I immediately was one of those 18-year-olds that got my own place.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just work and just work my way up instead of going to school. But then as life started to get more expensive and just seeing the
Mhm.
doors that were closed to me because I didn't have a college degree.
Yeah.
So I get married and divorced and have my first child within that marriage, had my second
Mhm.
6 years later,
Yeah.
in a different situation. So here become a single mother of two kids, and decide like this is not going to cut it. Like I need to get finish my degree so that I can get better jobs and better opportunities.
Mhm.
Because yeah, I can't any job that I'm looking for that seems even remotely appealing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm turned away by the fact that I don't even have a bachelor's degree. And my mom broke that down to me, like, if you're going to, because I was going to move to Atlanta at first,
Oh
um,
yeah. Yeah.
So she said, "What's going to be different in Atlanta?" And I'm like, "That's true. Like I don't have to work jobs like I'm working here. Like let me go get my degree and let's go from there." So I always worked like customer service jobs and
Yeah.
waitressing and administrative jobs. So that's like most of my young adult background until I
Mhm.
finally went to college and completed my degree. And both of my kids were at all of my graduations because
Wow.
I just went hard, got an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's degree, and my kids were there to celebrate it. Yeah, thank you. My
Yes.
degree is in journalism,
Mhm.
and because again it's always been storytelling for me,
Wow.
always. So I've written books and done tons of journalism work, so
Mhm.
that was my background. So
Gotcha.
when I moved to LA, I'm like, okay, in the very least I'll get a job at like a newspaper,
Yeah.
or a news station. I'll be a journalist until my screenwriting career kicks off. Like, so I knew that I wanted to be a screenwriter.
Yeah.
What I didn't know is that it's hard to become a Hollywood screenwriter. Like,
I
oh,
know, right?
they're not just knocking on your doors, or it's not just as simple as getting an agent or all these things that you believe. So for me to become a screenwriter that actually has something that people can see, I had to become an independent filmmaker. And those are two different things. I never intended
Yes.
to be a filmmaker,
Wow.
but am I glad that I did? Directing is everything to me. Writing is my first love, and directing has just become a close second. Like, and to be able to do both of those things, or to even do one or the other, like it just gives me such a fire inside. So yeah, now I'm an independent filmmaker and not just a screenwriter, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love how you touch on you went from screenwriting to independent filmmaking. So with the independent filmmaking, on location, we're getting ready to have the auteur club where members and people can sign up from a professional standpoint being in the film industry. And it's so tough. So I'm just curious, what made you just get out there and say, hey, I'm going to try to direct, I'm going to try to produce? Like, was it that you didn't have the people you needed to hire, or was it just that you wanted to get out there and test the waters? What kind of approach did you take to getting out there and just pivoting from being just a screenwriter to being a filmmaker?
Great question. And on Clubhouse, we recently had a conversation on transferable skills, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, as I became a screenwriter, and I became an independent filmmaker because no one was coming to me with these opportunities, and all
Mhm.
these doors were closed to me. In fact,
Yeah,
for these opportunities to just, hey, the door is wide open, come right
yeah,
on this show.
yeah.
So as a result, I had to write my own show.
Oh my God.
And directing came about because I literally always had like that vision,
Mm-hmm.
and probably even the talent. Like I've been like just putting things together and just directing for years, like on a smaller scale, like maybe a skit here,
Yeah,
or a small a play, or a church program, or like I've
yeah.
always done it. But it took me getting to Los Angeles and not believing in myself, and constantly hiring people to do things that maybe I could have done myself to begin with. So
Makes
a
sense.
transferable skill, like, being a single mom, like prepared me like that. You just got to be ready to pivot. Anything
Yeah.
can come up. You got to think quick on your feet. And, when I hired a director that failed to do the job that I needed them to do,
Mm-hmm.
I literally had to take the project and
Mm-hmm.
figure out, okay, what can we do?
Got you.
And that's been my leadership style. Like even as I
Okay.
direct my team, as I head my own company, I don't really spend a lot of time in the weeds talking about everything that goes wrong, or what's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
or how difficult this is.
Yeah.
What can we do? How
Got
can we do this?
you.
That's
Yes.
literally how
Yeah.
I approach things, and that's how I approach directing.
Absolutely. I love that. See, I love that because it's frightening to actually say, well, I'm gonna put this hat on. You wear a lot of hats anyway when you're taking on a project, but to say, hey, I'm gonna put this director hat on, I'm just gonna go out here and do what I can. And it's just really it can be stressful too. You know what I mean? So
It's very
kudos.
stressful, and I
Yes.
don't think anyone can do it. If we're being 1,000% honest,
Mhm.
directing is a skill set, and
Yeah.
even even when I write, and I learned that by directing.
Yeah.
So like if you write, even if you write the script, but especially if it's not your script, like you
Yes.
really have to get into that story. But
Yes.
even if you write it, you have to approach it like, so for instance, in the first thing that I directed in terms of a pilot, there was a scene like where the two characters, I knew that the man was coming to pick the young boy up from getting in trouble at the mall.
Yeah.
So I wrote that. So I'm like, they're walking to the car,
Yeah.
and both of them have like frowns on their face. They're both, just upset, like whatever it was. But to actually get to the location, I had to put a director's hat on. I'm like, okay, no, I want to catch y'all on the elevator.
Yes.
And I want the first shot to be the doors opening.
Yeah.
And you're slouched over and you're like, just stern, and then you walk out, and then I had to choreograph it. Like, you need to be 3 paces behind each other. You need to be 3 paces behind him at all time. Like, and like just giving them direction. Like, as a writer, I never had to consider these things. It's just like, hey, they up at the mall because he was stealing. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. So it's a different skill set, and it is intimidating to pick up on something that you haven't done, or you don't know that you're going to do well. And even now, like, the more directing opportunities I get, the more preparation it takes. And, like really tackling like the story and breaking it down and storyboarding, and like, it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet.
Doubtless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think about these things as a writer.
Well, I know, and that's the thing, when you go from writing to actually being out there on set and working with a crew, it's really, really different. Like when it comes to just being a director and then going out there and actually having your crew and everything, how do you go about choosing, who you want on your team, or who you want to work with? How is like your recruiting process?
That has changed a lot through trial and error. And, sometimes you have to get burned. Like in that situation, when I was burned by the director being unable or unwilling to complete the tasks, I take each of those lessons and I apply it going forward. Like, so now, like, everything that I have been through from 2014 when I moved here to Los Angeles to now, like, part of it is instinct, like you want to work with people that you get along with, and you want their energy to be good. But now I need references, and I need examples of your work.
Gotcha.
I need a solid understanding, and I need to have confidence that you really can execute this job, and you can do it under intense deadlines, because that's the thing. Like, sometimes some people just interview well, so you gotta but what happens when we're down to like 1 hour on set and we got to get these shots? Like, are you going to fall apart, or are you professional? Is your energy good? Because I've seen like people with negative energy, like just it ruins the whole set. Like, then everyone is just frazzled. So my process now is, firstly, if there's anybody because I think that a lot of times in this town, we're constantly hiring for different crew. So it is my dream to like have a dream crew, like a dream team. Like, these are my people. I find that people, content creators that have their people, like they know who's going to shoot it. They know who's going to edit it. Thankfully for QT, I did have that. QT, the series. We went to do the spinoff pilot, like it wasn't remotely, so we had to like hire out, because my guy, my brother, shout out to him, is in New York. Julio, he was my DP and my editor, my composer. Like, we just did it together, but he wasn't here to do that, so I had to find new people, and some of those people were great, and some of them I know that I would never work for again, or I would recommending it. But that's every production. That's every production. So you just have to trust, but verify the resources. Like, those referrals, and you can trust other people's. If it's someone you trust and they like recommend, like, that's a good starting point. But you just have to, have your own process to vet them as well.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Yes, that's so good information to have, because like you said, how are you going to work under pressure? You know what I mean? Like that is very important because it gets intense on set, and you have all these different attitudes, you have all these different ages, like all these different roles. Some people are main, some are, and you
Yeah.
never know who's feeling what kind of way on set, so
Yeah.
I definitely, that is very good
And the
information.
set is a sacred place. Like this is where
Mhm.
the story actually comes to life. Like we really
Yes.
need to protect that space, and
Yes.
no one should be there that doesn't want to be there. So that
Mhm.
goes for an actor that has, or actress that has too big of an ego or an
Oh
attitude
yeah.
issue, or a director that just
Mhm.
has this huge ego. Like everyone should be on the same page. So I think it
Yes.
goes beyond interviewing and really connecting as much as you can. There's so much that I learned through mistakes, and I
Yeah.
embrace that. Like I love, believe it or not, I love people that made mistakes because now I know, like for each
Mhm.
position, I
Yeah.
can think of something that this, let's say the AD,
Mhm.
especially like my AD, that is my ace boom coon going forward. So I know
Okay.
these are the skills that you have to have.
Yeah.
Like, I work with ADs that were too aggressive and bossy and
Yeah.
mean to the people that, and that I don't like
Yeah.
the energy down on set.
Running
And I
them
work
off
with
like
ADs that seem squeamish, like, oh, can you guys ready?
yeah.
There's something in between. Like you gotta, and I work with terrific ADs that everything is out. The call sheets are out in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
Everybody is, so
Mhm.
you just have to know what you expect of
Absolutely.
those
Absolutely.
positions.
That's good. That's good. And just speaking in general in terms of teams, I love how you communicate and you talk to your team about important things that are going on. You prepare them for what's going on. You make sure that they're abreast of everything and you get their feedback. It's just not one-sided. You listen to your team and you guys work together like a family. And speaking of teams, like you mentioned earlier, that 40K, that was really impressive. And I watched that over Clubhouse. I even supported and participated in because I felt really strong about what you were doing. QT is a very good series. I've watched it myself a couple times. Can't wait to see Second Shot because I know it's going to be the bomb just from me attending the screening. It was just something that I wanted to do in supporting you. So, and speaking of teams, how tough is it to find the team or basically to build that community when you're doing crowdfunding like 40K in 40 days?
I mean, it's funny, and I love this question, and I love it even more when people from my team are able to answer it, and because I couldn't imagine working with somebody like me. I have radical faith. Like
Yeah.
I am someone that's like, hey, because what I didn't mention about me moving to DC moving from DC to Los Angeles
Mm-hmm.
with two kids is that I didn't have a job.
Oh my God.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like, let's do it. Let's go. Like me
Yeah.
and those are, if you know me, you'll hear me say it's let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like those are my favorite words. And I mean it. Like, let's go. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So when we knew we were going to do the pilot, like we knew, it has to be nice. Like we know these characters, like, this world,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to need some money. So, okay, how much do we need?
Right.
40K? And
Mm-hmm.
one big part about it was that my team like just believed in me. That's from literally signing up to this project that we
Yeah.
didn't even know the technology, or it was really just an idea that God planted in my spirit when I was fasting. Like he was like, do a web series and do it remotely. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to do this? But okay, Lord, let's go.
Just go.
And that's what we did. So
Yeah.
when it came time to raise the money, like any team or
Mhm.
any human being, especially from with our race, most of, again, this is a team of Black folks, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Different socioeconomic statuses.
Mm-hmm.
And, we do have a few allies like on the team, but it's mostly Black folks. But
Yeah.
even I will say like this, there are no known, like I don't know anybody's situation, but there's no known millionaires on our
Right.
team, right?
Right.
So,
So
well,
all
excuse
the
me,
Black people don't
we
see
are, but a
it.
lot of us ain't got our money yet.
Right.
We
Right.
really are a team of all of us are millionaires, but we just ain't all our money yet. So cool.
Right.
But like we just had to do it, and it was just important that the team. This goes back to making sure you're surrounded with the right team. So
Yes.
everybody got it. We had 100% participation.
Wow.
There's not one person that did not at least post or get at least one family member or somebody to contribute. Now,
Yeah.
everybody has different personalities, including myself. Like crowdfunding is not my favorite thing in the world, but providing jobs for people of color is.
Absolutely.
And that was the quickest way for me to be able to do that.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that, my team really got it and they understood like this is how we're going to be able to get it done. This is nobody's favorite thing. Nobody gets,
Right.
I want to crowdfund. I want to ask people for money. Nobody does. But
Right.
if we do this and we do it right, and believe me, as the leader of this team, I'm not going to expect nobody to work harder than me.
Right. Right.
But when we do this, I have a theory that goes against what far too many people consider for themselves. They're always like, well, oh my gosh, what if we fail? Like I have a thing for me, it's always, what if it works?
Yeah.
What if it works? Like, what if I move to LA
Yeah.
and become a screenwriter? Like, what if it works? Like, I
Yes.
don't like, oh, what if I go to LA and fail? Like, that's not even why would I do that? But I realize lots of people do. But me, it's like, no, why would I put why would I?
Yes.
So even with the crowdfund, I knew it was a huge goal, especially considering what it was. But I'm like, okay, we need $40,000 and we're going to start shooting in May. My crowdfunding manager said we can't really launch it until March. So that's literally 6. So how can we really make this something that people can get behind? So then we coined the phrase like 40K in 40 days. And that's what kind of worked out in. And people immediately got it. We spoke to people who understood. Like that money was raised, yes, between friends and family, but mostly we raised it on Clubhouse from a community of other creatives. Like they got it. So instantly they were like 40K, 40 days, cool.
Yes.
And we broke it down. So we were like, okay, so that's going to be about 1,000 a day. So on the days that we didn't make 1,000 or, it didn't seem like that, those were tough days for me.
Yes. Yes.
But then it all added up and it all worked out. And we still, just to this day, we have supporters. They're like, hey, how can I help people? Like, what are the chances of that? Like we had over 400 donors. People reached out to me to say, Tamika, even well after it was over, Tamika, I still want to send you money, like to, and it's just a blessing. So
it is. That is. There's definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing. And it's interesting because a lot of people would say or do the thing that you wanted to do, they'd be someplace else or like in Memphis or be anywhere. And they'll say, I think I need to move this, and that. How important is it to be somewhere you're meant to be? A lot of people think you have to be in LA. Do you have to be in LA to make this thing happen? Or could you be anywhere? Or like, how important do you think that is to just be at the right place at the right time?
I love this question so deeply because of course I can't just sum up my whole journey in 30 minutes, but there was a time that things got so hard in 2017. I wasn't making a ton of money, but we were making it and God would have made a way. Like that wasn't really the biggest issue, but my son, who's now 18, this is when he was like going into his high school years. So middle school, the kids around middle school age, they just go from being like that just lovable, adorable elementary age child to just this nightmare, for lack of a better term. No, he wasn't that bad, but his grades were horrible. Yeah. And I feared for him as a Black man in America. Like, you cannot fail like your classes like this.
No, you cannot.
So we packed up. Okay. As a family, like, and literally I have the support of amazing parents and I have 2 sets of them. With that being said, I could have at any point, and believe me, they begged me at one point, like, leave the kids here. And you go, we believe in you. And, you're no a mother if you, like, I'm like, no, they need to be with me. Like, let's figure it out. But so when he was failing in school, we packed up in 2017 and went back to DC. Okay. And I came to the conclusion at that time, and I still stand by it. Me, yes, I need to be in LA, but I'm somebody that dreamed of being here since I was a little girl. I'm somebody that when I first visited LA for the first time in 2012 or 2013, I stepped off the plane at LAX and I just never felt like I belonged. I felt like I was at home. I never felt like I belong somewhere. Like I've traveled the world But the very first time I stepped out of LA, I just felt this overwhelming sensation, like you're home, like this is where you belong.
Yes.
Made every effort to get there by the end of the following year, and I did in 2014.
Yes.
But because of my situation, because my kids always come first. My
Mm-hmm.
dream is a close second,
Yeah.
but my kids on earth, that's my first
Absolutely.
responsibility. You know what I mean? So I reconciled in my mind that Hollywood is a state of mind,
Mm-hmm.
which means you don't have to be in LA, because a lot of people, if you're not even if it is your dream, even if
Mm-hmm.
you want to be successful in the industry, LA is a state of mind. Well, Hollywood is a state of mind, is what I'm
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Hollywood is a state of mind. Like, look at Tyler Perry, look at Oprah, look at all these people who have had very successful careers
Yes.
without physically moving here and living here.
Yes.
And, so no, I don't believe you have to, but I believe it's such a personal,
Okay.
if you
Yeah.
need to do it here. But what you
Absolutely.
need to do, regardless, is have that Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
state of mind, like that
Yeah.
creativity, that follow through, those
Yes.
connections.
Yes.
You need to always in LA, anywhere you go, like where I'm from, if you meet people, they'll be like, "Well, what do you do? What do you do for a living? Like, how are you?" Even
Yeah.
anytime you go somewhere, they're like, "Well, what are you working on? What are you
Yeah.
working on?" You're only as relevant as
Wow.
what you're working on now, right?
Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
that's just the reality. You got to have that Hollywood mindset. You always have to have something that you're working on,
Yes.
because no matter how good it is, like, it could have been Titanic. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
great. You did Titanic and won all the awards. Okay, what are you working on now? It's always never enough.
Yes.
And that keeps us fueled. That keeps us going. Like,
Yes.
it always has to be something. So no, you don't have to be here, but you got to hustle differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you can do it somewhere else, I mean, I say shout out to you. So we, in our situation, we only stayed for a year.
Yeah.
He got back on track. I was able to,
Oh, good.
stabilize some finances a little bit more, and we came
Yeah.
right out, and we've been back. So that was from 27 to 2018. So
Yeah.
we've been back ever since. And then I came back
Awesome.
with a renewed sense of the
Mhm.
grind, because I knew it. But when I moved back, I knew it was always, what are you working on? What are you working on?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
ever since I've been back, I've been working on something consistently, even in the pandemic, as you can see.
Yes, yes, that is amazing.
Thank
That's
you.
really extraordinary because I watched QT and it was just really inspiring to see your daughter in it. Not only are you, what I'm saying, not only are you making waves and doing your thing, but you include those that are in your circle, whether it's your children or whoever is close around you, you include them so that they can reap the benefits and get something and enjoy what you're doing as well. How is that with your daughter? Like, is she interested in acting some more? Like, what's her thing or her goal as far as like what she has going on?
That's a great, great observation. Thank you for that. I'm tickled pink. So, what I didn't get to include in trying to tell my story is that it was actually my son's idea when he was
Oh,
10 that we
okay.
moved to LA. Forgot to
Okay.
hear that. I talked about when I was 10 wanting to do it, but I did not talk about how when my son was actually 10 years old, he confronted me and said, "Hey, mom, like, what kid?" I just admire this young man so much. I admire my
Yes.
daughter too, but for the same, they both just have they have a sense of purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and they have no qualms about it. Like, and I
Yeah.
love that about them. So my son at
Yeah.
10 said, "Mom, can we move to LA?" Like, who asked their parents to move
Right.
to
That was
LA?
God. That was God talking through him.
He put it in. He's like, "Mom, can we move to LA because I want to pursue my entertainment career?" And he's
Wow.
always been into singing, winning
Yes.
talent contests. He'd always been into the arts.
Mm-hmm.
He'd always been picked as the lead for the play. Like,
Yes.
he's an artist. Like, he's been performing since he was 6 years old.
Wow.
Sing when I tell you.
Okay. All right
So
then.
then he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can we move?" I was like, "Okay, son, sure." I was like, "But let me get my master's degree so
Mm-hmm.
that." Remember, that was the whole come
Yeah.
here. Worst case,
Yeah.
get a job in the newsroom. And while I figure it out, that
Yeah.
never happened. But yeah, it was his idea. So
Wow.
then London, that's my beautiful, brilliant daughter. When you have a brother that's 6 years older than you, that gets all this attention for being like a superstar,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna, want to, like. I mean, I had videos from when they're when she was a very little girl. If he's getting too much shine, she got to break
Here
that
she
up and
comes.
say,
Hey, I love that.
yeah, I love it. Like, hold up now. So, like, yeah, he would. He got accepted into one of the performing arts programs in LA, very
Wow.
popular program for
Oh,
middle school. And my daughter
congratulations.
applied, and she's in it now. Like now that she's,
Yay,
but
congratulations.
they both, when we came here, we just enrolled them both in acting classes. Started with him, but
Uh-huh.
then Linda wanted to. She expressed interest, and at first we couldn't really tell if she's doing it just brother Marvo or if she really wanted to. But no, they both are trained actors.
Yes.
I spent an incredible amount of money on acting lessons over the years.
Wow.
So yes, they have projects. Like my son, he recently booked a short film
Mm-hmm.
that had nothing to do with me. He had,
Okay.
he
Yeah.
auditioned and he got the role. Like I'm not on the project in any way, so
Wow.
that's a great sense of accomplishment for him because of course
Absolutely.
he's been in my projects and of course he's been in other stuff as well. But he wants
Yeah.
to be a director now.
Yeah.
Now he's getting into behind the scenes. So in
Absolutely.
terms of my daughter, absolutely, she hasn't. They both have an agent
Mm-hmm.
and they self submit for roles all the time and
Awesome.
yeah, they're getting good traction. But yeah, she's
Absolutely.
definitely going to be doing other stuff. It's a continued interest, but she's also very much like her character. She's very brainy as well, so
Mm-hmm.
she's really into science and
Oh,
wants.
wow.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
incredible. She like
Yes.
has artist goals, but she also
Mhm.
has like educational goals, and she wants.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that really attracted me to her character on QT because we see a lot of, films and TV shows with people of color and you don't necessarily see kids that are, other than Smart Guy. Everybody remember Smart Guy back in the day, but you don't really see females, being
Mm-hmm.
portrayed as these smart and intelligent young, woman of
Thank
color,
you.
growing and blossoming and she's just
Yeah.
so smart and I really enjoyed that as far
Well,
as
the character I really wanted to play with the idea because I feel like, um, you know, black girls when they get like these roles, they're always perceived as too grown, like
yes,
too grown in a sassy way.
yes,
So we played on it with Trinity. She's too grown in the
hmm
fact that she wants to lead a business and she
yes,
wants to have a job at Apple and she wants to, you know,
yes.
be an adult, like
Right, right. It was
use
brilliant.
her intellect, not because of anything inappropriate or
Right.
like, but not
Yes.
realizing she's putting herself in potentially dangerous situations, and
hmm
that's the kind of things that reminds you that she's a child.
Exactly. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
in Second Shot, oh my gosh, there's some surprises with Trinity.
Uh-oh.
She goes into
Uh-oh.
middle school.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think one of the things that I noticed was that, back in the day we had, you know, platforms that were about meeting and this and that. So, how do you think the world has evolved within the film industry now that we have these platforms like Clubhouse and Instagram where you can connect with these people that you would never really connect with? How important is that to make these connections and to use these relationships wisely when you make them?
I think you have mastered it personally. So if anybody can do a master class, you do it like you. Firstly, I get it. There's always something, no matter how you perceive someone else's success,
Mm-hmm.
there's always someone more successful than them or someone that can help them take it up a notch or, that their dreams could just come true with just one
Yes.
dinner meeting with Jay-Z, you know what I mean? Or whatever that thing is, right?
Yes.
Um, but that does not give you license to just, well, he doesn't have Instagram, but so just any celebrity or
Mhm.
public figure, they're still human at the end of the day.
Yes.
So yes, they have all this perceived success, um, but usually that comes with so much responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And can you imagine how many people are in line before you, complete
Right.
stranger,
Yes.
asking for said celebrity
Mm-hmm.
to watch your reel or read your script or
Yes.
whatever that favor is. Like there are so many people in line before you. Like, and
Yes.
keep in mind they still have to maintain their own.
Right.
So you have to be realistic. So
Correct.
my thing, like social media, has
Mm-hmm.
made it possible
Mm-hmm.
to get one step closer
Mm-hmm.
to you and someone that can help you in your
Yeah.
career, but you still cannot use it as an excuse to abandon
Mm-hmm.
social norms or
Yeah.
politeness, or yeah, just like you wouldn't walk up to a complete stranger on the street and ask them to pay your bills.
Right.
You know what I mean? You cannot go into a stranger's inbox. Like, yeah, you're a stranger to them. They may not be a
Yeah.
stranger to you, but you're a stranger to them.
Yeah.
And you, so if you do get close enough
Mm-hmm.
to talk to them, like you want to connect with them on a human level before you ask them for anything.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That is definitely one of the things that I noticed once coming on Clubhouse, because a lot of people they're not using the platforms the way they actually should. It's like they don't know that they need this platform and how to work it. So once I came on there, it was kind of new to me.
Yeah.
I definitely found myself in different rooms, and I was like, what am I looking for? Who do I want to surround myself with? So I definitely think that is important to, like you said, you don't want to go into these rooms or go into any platform and treat these people as if they are these big people that you can just, oh, I need this, I need that. You do want to actually try to offer them something as well, you know what I'm saying, to make this a two-way
That blows their mind.
relationship.
I mean, it's human. It's
Yeah.
again, they're human. Like if you spend 95% of your existence being asked or
Yes.
for something, or people wanting something from you,
Yes.
whether implied or just directly asked, you get used to that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can be a part of the 5% of the people that can show up and say, hey,
Yes.
I know a very gifted artist. Like she'll just create a nice portrait of Diana Ross.
Wow.
And send it to her people.
Yeah.
And then as a result, Diana Ross will post it on her. And I'm just using her as an example. Not Diana Ross, but I'm just saying, even someone so big like that.
Yeah.
So yes, it's still like a crapshoot, because you're like, wow, I've spent all this time and this resources and materials on this. But I'm telling you, she's done it and gotten, and maybe she's really good with knowing who to do it for. But like, yeah, they'll post it. And as a result, like now her numbers go up in popularity. And then the work that she's commissioned to do as a result. So if you could just find that way in, it's going to have to be through a give, though.
Yeah.
That is the problem. Like you cannot just expect, no matter how kind someone is, no matter how much you deserve their help, because you do. It doesn't mean you're not deserving. It just means that you have to, first of all, understand that, be it on Clubhouse, social media, celebrity, non-celebrity, public figure, non-public figure, you are your hero. You are your celebrity. You are the one that is going to drive yourself to success. Whatever it is that you're wanting them to do for you, you do for you.
Yes.
Oh, I just want them to tweet from this. Okay, so what you do is you work hard on being consistent with your content and grow your own following.
Yes.
As to influencer levels, so that you can be the person that can tweet your show and everybody will watch it, rather than wasting time trying to get connected to somebody that's not going to do it anyway. But you're going to have to pay them a lot of money to do it anyway, or whatever that is. Like, you have to understand that you are in the driver's seat for your success. Nothing that they can do for you warrants you, wasting a lot of time trying to connect with them.
Yeah.
You can, and let whatever that situation is become extra. But don't make that your plan A, because they that's not how they became successful.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They put in the work, and when you're putting in the work, you're going to meet the right people, and you won't have to ask people to send it.
Right.
You put something, we do it on social media all day. If we see something funny, we share it. No one begs us to share it.
Exactly.
A dope show, we naturally go in there like, oh my gosh, did y'all see BMF? You know what I mean? Oh my God, now you can't stop the rain. You know what I mean? Like, naturally doing it. You know what I mean? So just be dope. You're going to get the support you need, without ever having to beg or pander.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. And speaking of support, I have on my Memphis Music Bank shirt. I did put it on, but I cannot go on without mentioning how I got my Queen's shirt, okay? Because we are branding, with QT, you guys are branding and doing big things. Like, you have merchandise. What was it like in trying to come up with your different merchandise, and where can people find that at?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. You can find the merchandise on qtseries.com, where you can
Mm-hmm.
also find out information about the show and just get a little bit of
Absolutely.
insight into the personality behind the show. So
Yes.
yes, the line is actually inspired by, Blackness. The
Mm-hmm.
show just shows so and celebrates Blackness,
Mm-hmm.
and the line subsequently does as well. And
Yes.
doesn't mean you got to be Black to appreciate the merch. We have something for everybody,
Absolutely.
but we unapologetically have that celebrate Blackness,
Yeah.
because that's what QT, I think, does so
Mm-hmm.
well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I get excited when I can turn on the TV and see
Yes.
faces that look like me, because I that wasn't
Mm-hmm.
always the case. Not that I wasn't
Right.
inspired. I told you
Mhm.
I wanted to be like Aaron Spelling.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? I don't
Yes.
think we know.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
it's just an honor. So yes, please check out our merch and support our. It's cute.
Yes, Key, I love it. Yes, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And I'm just curious, you got a lot going on and everything like that, but where do you see Tamika Briscoe 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself sitting, or where do you think you'll be at by that time?
Thank you for that. I literally just yesterday, I have mentees that I work with through the
Hmm.
hashtag Start with Eight program. Shout out
Yes,
to Woke You. Um,
yes,
Women of Color Unite, for those that are not familiar.
yes.
But we literally did a virtual vision board party.
Hmm.
So my vision is sharper than ever.
Yay.
5 years from now, I see so much manifested. I see like a network deal. Like,
Yes.
I see just me running a successful film enterprise, film and TV enterprise, where
Mhm.
we're constantly putting out content our own, as well as helping to develop others. Because for me,
Yes.
that's so important that it's not even cute for me to feel successful without being able to reference who else with
Yeah.
me is
Yeah.
successful. Like,
Absolutely.
I get so inspired just watching people's journey. Issa
Mhm.
Rae's the perfect example of that.
Yes.
Like, not only is she successful, but so many people that knew her or knew of her on her climb can actually
Mhm.
look at her show and see, oh, that wow, they've been rolling together a long time.
Yes.
And it's just a
Absolutely.
celebration. So,
Yes.
I definitely want to follow in that lead, like bringing others up with me, and
Absolutely.
we're all winning. We're all eating. There's exotic vacations,
Mhm.
beautiful home, success, and just being like just a household name,
Yeah.
and doing it like with authenticity, and
Mhm.
just having my kids like just be all that they want to be, and just know
Mhm.
that they're supported. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's when 5 years from now
Absolutely. Yes, I can see it. I'm telling you, like, I literally can see you going like even farther than that. You know what I'm saying? Like by
oh,
that time I
thank
can see
you.
you being so yes, because
Yeah.
it's not a lot of people that are in the industry that are sharing much information like you do, and
Thank you.
especially the Mod Squad and people that are within your community that have gone out here and put in the work, and you put in the time, and you, like you said, made mistakes and you've learned from it, but you're willing to share that information. I came across your website, and I can't remember the exact title of the book, but I do have the digital copy. So, is there
Oh
any kind
wow, like
of
a moth to a flame.
yes,
Oh, that's my
yes,
first book.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
You're
Oh, that
welcome.
needs to be a film. That's what
I
I need.
know it
God
does.
knows I just need
See?
the resources. Like, I
Yes.
want to, just continue to create
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
tap into like just this
Yes.
talent. That book is going to make a good film. But yeah,
Yes.
you can find it on Amazon.
Yes. Yes.
Let me know what you think when you read it.
I definitely will. I will. I will. And I love the fact
Thanks
that
for getting it, because that's huge. Just that support. You know what I
yes,
mean?
yes, that's what I'm saying. And I think that supporting each other along this journey is one of the things that On Location Memphis wants to do. They want people that can support each other and uplift each other no matter where you're at. And
Yes.
like I said, you all the way in LA, I'm in Memphis, and we come from different backgrounds. You didn't have film school. Here I am struggling trying to get through it. I'm not struggling, but
You're going to get it. Yeah.
I'm working, managing life and everything, doing it because I never got a chance to actually finish school. So for me, just getting into a degree program that I felt like I would enjoy, which was film, to actually just finish getting a degree instead of saying, okay, I'm gonna get my degree in accounting. Film was where I wanted to be. So that's the only reason why I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna get my bachelor's degree. I won't have that long to do it because I got majority of the credits. Hey, I got the opportunity. I'm seizing it like Tamika, and I'm just, making the best of it. So I think for me, it was coming into those rooms on Clubhouse, finding organizations around me that would push me to do the thing that you're doing. So I really, I tip my hat to you, and you're just doing amazing things out there. And one of the other things that I wanted to mention was you are surrounded by a mod squad. I don't think people realize how important is it to go out there and be with like-minded individuals like yourself.
It's life-changing. But first, I just want to acknowledge and just give you flowers for going to film school. It's so hard
Thank you.
to, pursue your dream.
Yes.
Once you've already started a very adult life and family and have all these obligations. So I'm so inspired by that. And I just want you to push forward and just think of what if it works? Like, or what is life going to look like when this manifests?
Yes.
So keep up, you got this, and it's huge. But in fact, if people don't listen to anything on this interview, they really need to fast forward to just this question, because it is the most important thing of all, who you surround yourself with, especially in your building phase. It's everything.
Yes.
It goes back to like that energy. And there's a lot of people in your life who love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but people can only support and encourage you at their capacity. It's so hard for people, and they don't mean to be haters. Or they don't mean to be worry warts or whatever it is, that thing that would like get them to, instead of speaking life to your situation,
right?
Oh no, or like, because some people only, like, if they never dreamed outside of their a 10-mile radius of their home, and they never had dreams that, like, went outside of that, or if they never wanted to do anything more than work one job and just retire there after 30, 40 years. If that is for them, that is their definition of success and contentment. And that is just as well for them. But if you, on the other hand, have bigger dreams and you want to be a filmmaker and you want to, success, that is not a dream that everybody has. So you cannot talk to everybody or surround yourself with people that don't get it. Not to say that you can't hang with them. It's not to say you can't, but you cannot call and specifically talk to them about that. That is not where you go to get your encouragement. You go to get your encouragement for people that actually get it.
Yes.
So that is, take it a step further in terms of like the mod squad and the amazing industry professionals that I am blessed to be surrounded by on a frequent basis. Like, it goes so far beyond Clubhouse. Like, we'll talk, text each other, check on each other, hang out. Like, and that's so important because you are constantly inspired. You know what I mean? Like, looking at the amazing things, like, they're in deals that I can't even begin to like disclose. Like, I'm literally not allowed to.
Which means you're close, which means you're getting there.
That means it's big. Like, when you're doing it big, like, it's a little different. Like, so you got to be careful of that. When you hear people saying, "Oh, I have this," and they were too braggadocious, they're probably lying, because you're really bound and limited about what you can say when you're really. But it's just the inspiration and the support, and especially, being in a position that I'm around Black women, like Tamika Patterson, like Donna Marie, like and Jaylene Mack, like on a daily basis, Nia Hill, like I'm talking to them on a daily basis for the most part, and just seeing like what's possible. And then for them to see those, things in me, like they have these outstanding careers and they're women of faith, and they just move and they move through this world in a way, and like they literally are constantly elevating, like, and supporting my projects and believing in me, and it's the most beautiful thing to experience. And it's like, even just proximity, like just knowing like, wow, if you're able to do this, you're giving back and giving me advice, like these are the tangible steps that you can take to get your projects to the next level. Like, you can't, I mean, I just thank you, God. Like, I don't that or position myself like that. And shout out to the Kings,
Yes, yes,
bro, Greg,
yes,
hey, like all my brothers, Byron,
yes,
like
yes,
I'm just blessed. I'm always
yes,
around great
yes.
people.
Yes. And I was there, like I witnessed it. Like in LA, when I came to your private screening, I witnessed like it's not just, how you're on social media and you're on these platforms, but then it's kind of like, oh yeah. And then you get out there and it's like, okay, well, y'all not the same way, y'all not friendly or lovey-dovey, but the bond, you can just tell that you guys are bonded, that you
They
guys
show
are
up for
close,
you,
they
girl, and
show
each
up,
other.
like
Yeah.
you're
Oh my
authentic.
gosh.
Everybody
Yeah.
is authentic. Like it's just
Yep.
amazing. So I can definitely understand where you're coming from. So
You a boss, you got to surround yourself with other bosses.
yes, that part. That
L.
part
Jones
right
got a
there.
network. Like
Absolutely.
we have to support each other.
We
And
do.
and
We
last
do.
shout out I gotta give it to my girl Shakisha. Shakisha holds me down
Yes.
more than
Yes.
anybody. Shakisha Williams, check her out, y'all.
Yes, yes. Shakisa is an amazing crowdfunding specialist, and we'll definitely do a segment with her in the coming time. But
Yes.
I really enjoyed this interview. I really appreciate everything that you've told us on this interview because it makes a difference. It matters to people like me who are out there being independent filmmakers who may not want to be a filmmaker, but we want to be a screenwriter and we want our voices heard. But we're taking the step like you to have these stories told so that people can hear us and say, "Hey, I want you to write something for me," or come on this project and be a part of it. So it really matters. And it was really important to speak with you. And I just really enjoyed it. But tell us where we can find Tamika Briscoe. Are you on any social media platforms? You have a website? Where can we find you?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Well, I try to keep it very simple. So if you
Yeah.
want to see me on social media, it's at Tamika Briscoe,
Yeah.
Tamieka
Yeah.
Bristle. So as long as you spell my name right, you will find
Yeah.
me. And my website is the show,
Yeah.
qtseries.com. Um,
Absolutely.
check it out. It's streaming on Tubi. It really helps us when we get those streams.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for watching and supporting. And yeah,
Yeah.
stay tuned because it's going to be a great
It's gonna
2022.
it's gonna be a great 22 and 22. And I look forward to everything that you have going on. And I just wish you so much success and everything. And I look forward to it. Like I said, I'm excited about it. I know you're gonna do great things this year and beyond. It's just the mind and the vision that you have for it. And it's just important for us as filmmakers to get out there and do that because people of our color, we are in a state now to where we can get stuff done. We can actually get out there and do things together. We can
Yes,
find and build these communities, make these relationships and hone in on them. So
exactly.
that's really what I enjoyed about meeting you and just knowing that you are authentic and like I call you sis even when we talk because coming
Yes.
from a personal standpoint, I look up to you.
Oh,
You're like my big sister in the industry, and I know you mentioned mentees and everything like that, but you're someone who could definitely mentor someone in this industry. So I'm
thank you,
thankful that
sis.
I met
The
you.
feelings mutual. I adore you, and I'm just thankful for
Yes.
you. You're making all the right moves, so
Thank
keep
you
it
so
up.
much. Thank
And I look forward to the great collaborations
Yes,
that we're going to have together.
absolutely,
Let's do it.
absolutely, absolutely.
Come
I
on,
think
Memphis.
I
If you
know,
let
right?
me,
Yes, yes,
I'd love
yes.
to be there.
Yes, so it was so fun having you on here to make it. Are there any last tips that you could provide for us? So anything that you just, if you could have told yourself, when you first got into the game, anything that you would like to add, that you would have told yourself back then?
Absolutely. The biggest piece of advice, bet on yourself. Bet
Yes,
on yourself. And
yes,
it is scary.
yes.
And but what if it works?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a believer like I am, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to work. That
Yes,
doesn't mean that it's going to be easy and every
yes.
day it's just going to flow or you're just going to be skyrocketed to success.
Mm-hmm.
But what will happen is that it's going to work out. And even the dark days,
Mm-hmm.
they fade. That darkness
Yeah.
fades like once you make it. Like you
Yes.
never just sit and just grimace about how awful and painful it was. You're
Right.
like, wow. Once you get there, it's like,
Yeah.
wow.
You're like, I
Yeah,
made it.
get there and do what it takes and be
Yes.
ready to pivot and surround yourself with people that want to see you win.
Yes.
That is what I feel so blessed to have in this season of my life. Like I can
Absolutely.
definitely say that even though I couldn't possibly name them all, my friends, my
Yes.
family, my loved ones, my mod
Yes.
squad, everybody, my
Absolutely.
clubhouse family, um,
Yes.
everyone wants to see me win. So
Yes.
do those necessary cleanups Take a
Yes.
look at your left and your right. What doesn't look right? What doesn't belong? Oh, this person never congratulates you, never
Yes, that
you,
part.
never watches your show, hasn't read
Man,
your book, like they never do anything. Like what is,
I'm telling you.
don't be
Yes.
afraid to, you know, make
Cut people out.
changes as necessary because sometimes it's important for your growth. So
Absolutely.
I like
Absolutely.
that.
Well, yes. Well, you heard it best from Tamika Briscoe, and just thank you so much for, coming on here. And until next time.